Morning YouTube. It's Diane again, and this is another video. I'm trying to record a series of videos, and then I'll put them out over this next week. But this one is my public service announcement. Organic Granny had a public service announcement regarding a tool that she used on how to be safe with it, because it's a sharp laying tool that she was using. So my PSA is, many of you know I've been having issues with my shoulder, and I've been doing physical therapy, and it's improving greatly. Very, very little pain. There's just a few movements that I have pain, but overall, it's getting so much better than it was. But one thing that the therapist and I have been talking about is posture. So when I'm driving, are your shoulders back? How's your posture when you're sitting at the table eating dinner? How is your posture just reading the newspaper or whatever? And I started thinking about it. When I quilt, I will put a whole series of parts of blocks through and chain stitch them. And then I'll have to give myself a few minutes rest. I'll roll my shoulders back and just allow my body a couple minutes rest. And then I jump back in. But when I stitch, I was not watching my posture. So my PSA is on your posture. When you're stitching, think of how you sit. Your shoulders should be back, unless you have a medical condition that doctors don't want you to do this, because I am not a doctor. You should think about it at least. Are your shoulders back? Are you leaning your head way forward so you're straining your neck, or is your neck pretty in line with the rest of your spine? This is something that I've had to consider because of where I usually stitch is our couch, and you kind of squish back into your couch. Well, that brings your shoulders forward, and for me, that was causing a lot of inflammation in some tendons. It's causing muscles to do what they shouldn't do, a whole slew of stuff that I'm working out of. But I have to retrain my body. And as growing up, I'm sure we all heard, sit up straight, sit up straight, sit up straight. Well, there's a lot of truth in that little phrase. So my PSA is, when you are sitting in your chair or your couch or wherever you're stitching, think about how you're sitting. Are your shoulders back? Is your chin in line with your body? If not, and this is something I've had to do, I will put a pillow, just a regular bed pillow, behind myself in line with my spine. That way when I push back on the pillow, it's supporting my body, but it also allows me room to push my shoulders back to avoid that muscle fatigue. Another thing to consider, do you have to raise your feet at all? Or are you feeling like you're going to fall out of your chair, that you're tensing your body in places, muscle groups that you don't know you have until they're sore? So you might want to get a little step stool or footstool of some kind. Arranging your stitching area so you're not reaching in weird ways to pick something up or grab something. I know things fall on the floor, and sometimes you have to do that to reach them. But consider how you have your stitching area. This is something I also have to consider. I have a floss box, so is my floss box where I can grab it without straining my body in weird contorted ways? And I do have young children, so I have to watch my scissors and my needles, but I can keep those safe from my children without torturing my body. So I encourage you to consider that. If you're going to have a drink near you, I encourage just water, because I would hate to have you spill something on your project. But is it where you can easily reach it, so you're not straining your body? Because when you reach away from your body, something that's 2 ounces here, when your arm is all stretched out, it is a lot of pressure back here. And you think of a gallon of milk is about 8 pounds here in the US, or a gallon of water. It's about 8 pounds. If I hold that away from my body, by the time it's back to my shoulder, it's actually more force, or I'm not sure the correct terminology, but it's more like 24 pounds. Whereas when it's closer to my body can compensate for that extra weight. So think about, if you're having something to drink when you stitch, and I do, I have my water bottle, is it near where I can grab it? TV remotes. I like to watch movies when I stitch. Are the remotes reasonably near me? Also, one thing I'm doing, and this is very, very new to me. I have been stitching in the hand for 20 plus years. I have some projects on a scroll frame, and some projects I'm still stitching in the hand, but I have a heaven and earth design on a scroll frame is one of my things. I also purchased a floor stand, an inexpensive floor stand. And if you have not watched the Traveling Stitcher's videos on how she adapted her scroll frame for longer scroll bars and her floor frame to get the bars that you could just lay your frame on, it doesn't have to clamp on, you just lay it on there. I strongly urge you to watch those because I adapted my scroll frame and my floor frame, which is the same one she has in the video, using her techniques, and it works. It's new to me because the frame is there and I'm learning the two-handed stitching technique. Very, very new to me. But I think in the long run it's going to help my shoulder so I can stitch longer, not just 30 minutes instead of 20, but also longer year-wise. And I want to be able to do that because, as we all know, our stitching wish list, we'll have to have 3 lifetimes to finish. Yeah, that's me too. Yeah, I'm there. But just think about when you are stitching, how is your posture? This is something I hadn't thought about, but since I've been thinking about it, made a conscious effort to have good stitching on the days when my arm's not bothering me, which are more days than not now. I have to think of posture, posture, posture. Eventually I won't have to think about it as much because it'll just be routine. But think about your posture. Think about how your shoulders are, your neck is. Are you reaching goofy? Should you put a cushion behind maybe just your lumbar region or all along your spine? Try some different things to make it easier on your body, and that way you'll be stitching for a longer period of time. And that's my PSA today. And I have another video I want to do on changes that maliciously hopeless Sal's. I'm a victim. But I'm going to do another video on that. But until then, have a good stitching day, and posture, posture, posture. I have to remind myself of that all the time too. But I hope you do have a good day. It's really cold here in Minnesota today, but spring is supposed to be coming. So I will see you and talk to you soon. Bye.